Hello and welcome back to the stream. We're doing a reaction to the UFC Fight Night Vettori versus Dolidze 2, which just finished. Yeah, and we're just gonna talk about the fights we just witnessed, or hopefully we just witnessed. I did witness them. Yeah, and I'm just gonna tell you what I thought I was watching. First fight of the night, we had in the women's flyweight division, we had Yunesi Dubin versus Kali Judas. Yunesi Dubin taking this fight on, I think, 10 days, something like that, like short notice. Let's check if when I say something like that, I should at least... Oh. It's not mentioned anymore on the wiki page. Whatever. I think it was pretty short. I'm pretty sure it was short notice. Announced a couple days ago, I think. Well, in the fight, I thought Dubin looked a little gun shy. Judas was landing more and bigger until she finally set her down with a head kick and finished Dubin on the ground. Yeah, my pick was TKO by Yunesi Dubin, but Kali Judas got the TKO finish in round 2. In round 1, I'm sorry. Moving on. We had the women bantamweight division. We had Josiane Nunez versus Priscilla Cachoeira, and beforehand I told you that I'm very biased in this matchup because, yeah, I don't like dirty fighters. Let's not go into this anymore. Let's focus on this fight. It was a lot of big exchanges in that fight. It was weird to see the way Cachoeira was fighting and how successful she was with it. It was her head was very stiff and pretty much always at the same spot, and she was looking like into what can I do, but at the same time her head was exposed the entire time. But yeah, Nunez hit her a couple of times, but yeah, she is pretty much a zombie girl, and yeah, just ate it. They exchanged a lot of power shots, as I said. Cachoeira got hit a couple of times, but she hit Nunez as well. And in one of those exchanges, up close, Cachoeira hit her with a nasty uppercut. And yeah, she basically went stiff from that. But yeah, Zombie Girl is as fitting of a nickname as for the Korean Zombie for a while in his career, a long time in his career, basically his whole career. The Korean Zombie was the perfect nickname, probably for her. Zombie Girl, even and biting even fits that bill as well. Move on. We had the flyweights. We had Daniel Barres versus Andre Lima. I was predicting this one. Oh, by the way, I predicted Cachoeira to win, but by decision, I did not expect her to go to get a KO finish here. She wasn't TKO, she was a KO, no? Was it KO? Yeah, it was KO. Daniel Barres versus Andre Lima. I was picking Andre Lima by TKO. Throughout the fight, I thought that Lima was faster and better on the feet throughout the entire round 1. He mixed it up very nice. He went head, he went body, he went legs. Very, very diverse striking. Was really fun to watch. And everything he threw looked really painful, especially those hooks to the body. Yeah, more of the same in round 2. more body shots. Towards the end of the round, I think, yeah, Barres shot on Lima and Lima reversed it. No, or did Lima just... Anyway, he just ended up on top. The round ended shortly after. In the third round, Lima just defended. No, he defended a takedown as well. It was a takedown defense, yeah. He reversed the takedown from Barres. In the third, Barres again shot on Lima. Lima defense, ends up on top again, and this time he finishes him with a rear naked choke. So Andre Lima, not as I predicted by TKO, but by submission in the third round. Yeah, took him a little while, but he looked dominant. He looked very, very good. Very, very impressive debut in the UFC. We move on. Strawweights, women's strawweights. We had Stephanie Luciano versus Sam Hughes. I predicted a decision win for Sam Hughes because, yeah, she usually tends to find a way in tough, gritty fights. She finds a way to victory, which actually kind of just happened. Round one was all stand-up. Luciano looked like she was throwing harder, and I had her winning the first. In the second, Sam Hughes took it to the ground, and Luciano kind of looked helpless. She couldn't get up. She was dominated. Hughes did not do that much damage. She didn't use that position very effectively. But Luciano couldn't do anything about it. In the third, Luciano's stand-up all of a sudden looked very, very sloppy. She overthrew a lot of her shots and got off-balanced and stumbled around a little bit. But I thought she had the higher volume. She threw more, she hit more. And it stayed on the feet. I actually had Luciano winning round 3. So my scorecard was 29-28 Luciano. But Sam Hughes won a split decision. 2 judges gave it to her. And yeah, that's what happened. We move on. Bantamweights, Carlos Vera versus Josias Musasa. Biggest favorite on the card, as I heard, got upset by Carlos Vera. Was a fun fight as long as it lasted, I have to say. They were both throwing power strikes. It seemed like it was only a matter of time until one of them was landing. Musasa looked very good. He threw with a lot of power. He saw a lot of stuff coming, but he got caught by a couple of kicks. And then Vera lands a really vicious head kick. Musasa tries to recover, but it was badly hurt and recovers only to get submitted by a rear naked choke. In the first, no, I forgot to add this. Yeah, in the first, I'm sorry. Let me just edit this. Is it one? All right. Now we move on. Rear naked choke was the submission he chose, and yeah. Good win for Carlos Vera. Got the upset. Congratulations. We move on. We stay in the bantamweight division. We had Yu Su-yong versus AJ Cunningham. I had Yu Su-yong winning, I think, by decision. Let me check. Yeah. I thought Yu Su-yong would win a decision. It was a decision, but we're going to talk about it round by round. So, It was dominant grappling from Yu Su-yong in round 1. As soon as he got Cunningham, got a hold of him, he just controlled him. Cunningham stayed on the ground. He threw triangles up, but never got really close to submitting Su-yong. A lot of good chain wrestling from the Korean in round 2. More dominance. And in the third, more of the same. He was just dominant on top. He was able to float whatever, float on whatever Cunningham was doing on the bottom. Yeah, Cunningham tried, but he had never had a shot in this fight. He just got completely controlled. Wasn't like he was beat up badly, but he could nothing. You'd land maybe a lucky shot on the feet was his shot, was the chance he had tonight. Because on the ground he had nothing for Yu Su-yong, who was just like always a step ahead, or he was always thinking one step ahead. Let's phrase it like that way. For example, he was during wrestling exchanges, he was already thinking about the next trip while Cunningham defended the first. And then Cunningham wasn't ready for the second trip. Dominant unanimous decision win for Su-yong. Great performance. We move on. We had the heavyweights. We had Waldo Cortes Acosta versus Ryan Spann. Ryan Spann, as a heavyweight, for a while he looked good, and then Cortes Acosta started landing his right hands. Actually, also the shots from Ryan Spann were vicious. It was danger in the air from the starting bell. It was kind of back and forth until Cortes Acosta landed his first overhand right, and he hurt Spann visibly, but he wobbled a little bit. It was not super hurt, but it was visible. During the second round, I thought during the entire round, Spann looked a little wobbly in his movement, and at the end of the second round, he got hit. It was the second round, no? Yeah. At the end of the second round, he got hit really hard and finished by ground and pound. Good win for Cortes Acosta. For Ryan Spann, yeah, that's sad. That's sad, man. Because he's like a very, very physically gifted athlete, and if the chin doesn't hold what the body promises, it's really sad. So yeah, good win for Waldo Cortes Acosta, and actually I predicted KO for Waldo Cortes Acosta. Yep. By the way, I also predicted a unanimous decision for Su-yong, but we move on. Featherweights in the main card: Choi Sung-woo versus Kevin Vallejos. I was predicting Vallejos to win this by TKO, and it's exactly what happened. Vallejos dominated from the start with powerful punches. He hurt Sung-woo like 2 or 3 times until he dropped him. And then finished him off in the first. Was a dominant and kind of complete stand-up performance, including really good finishing instincts. Yeah. Good victory for Kevin Vallejos, no? Vallejos, yeah. Really good victory. And I think he might get a bonus, but no. Nah. A lot of good finishes tonight. So maybe not. We'll see. We move on. Second fight of the main card, we had Diar Nurgojai versus Brenson Ribeiro. Nurgojai missed by 5 pounds the weight limit of 205. He weighed in at 210, I think. And yeah, I was a little bit disappointed. He was 5 pounds heavy, but during the fight, it looked like he was just a little bit chubby, and Ribeiro was the taller, the wider, and probably even stronger fighter. That's what it looked like. Still, I had some confidence in Nurgojai because he had so much hype behind him. So I thought, okay, he can maybe throw extremely quickly, but he couldn't. Just Ribeiro exchanges with him. And he hurts him in the first, rocks him, hurts him, drops him, and that's how I saw him winning the first. In the second round, Nurgojai tries to change the game and shoots on Ribeiro, but Ribeiro just gets a Kimura grip and uses it to reverse the position, but never lets go, follows the Kimura, puts Nurgojai on his back and submits him with a Kimura grip. Really good submission. Overall, this was a pretty much like a perfect MMA performance because he showed that he can hurt him on the feet in the first round, and in the second round he went from getting taken down to reversing the position with the submission hold and submitting his opponent. Great performance by Brenson Ribeiro. His stock raised by a lot tonight. But we move on. Damon Blackshear versus Cody Gibson in the bantamweight division. I had Damon Blackshear winning a decision in my prediction, which was not what happened tonight. As in many of his fights, Cody Gibson came out like a bat out of hell, and just swarmed Damon Blackshear early. At one point in the first, he got a takedown, and Blackshear tried to submit. I think it was a guillotine in the first. From an attempted guillotine, he swept Cody Gibson and controlled the rest of the round. I still gave the first round to Gibson because of the amount of body shots he seemed to be landing on Blackshear, and Blackshear seemed to be hurt a little bit by them. In the second round, Gibson again swarmed him early and again got his takedown, but Blackshear again reversed the position, and this time from the control position he finished him also with the Kimura, which was kind of funny because back-to-back Kimuras, I can't remember the last time back-to-back Kimuras in the UFC. They said it on the broadcast, but I wouldn't remember that. Yeah, but he reversed it. He got his own Kimura, and got his submission victory in round 2. So Damon Blackshear gets the victory tonight. We move on. Lightweights, we had Alexander Hernandez versus Kurt Holoba. Who did I have winning? I had Kurt Holoba winning by decision. But in the first round, Alexander Hernandez looked amazing on the feet at first. He threw and was always still on balance. He never overthrew anything. It was really fun to watch because he always had the ability to go back in or get out, because he never overextended with anything, yet still he was throwing power strikes. He has a fun way of fighting. But then Holoba hit him, I think, with a decent right hand, and that changed the first round a little bit because then from that point on, Holubach seemed to be taken over a little bit. I still gave the first round to Hernandez. The second round, Holubach started taking over even more. Looked great in the stand-up. Hernandez looked timid and couldn't escape the fence. But as soon as he felt like he was losing, he got a takedown and controlled Holubach the rest of the round. Was a really, really close round 2, but I still gave it to Hernandez. Round 3 was total control by Hernandez. He just got his takedown earlier and never let Holubach back up, controlled him until the end of the fight. I had a unanimous decision, 30-27 for Hernandez, I think. Yeah, 2 judges gave Holubach the second round, probably. Yeah. But good victory for Alexander Hernandez. My pick was wrong, but it is what it is. We move on. We had the co-main event. We had the welterweights. Chidi Njokuani versus Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos. The banger of the main card, basically. Chidi looked huge tonight. And terrifying. His strikes, but even worse at welterweight now. In the first round, though, he got hurt by Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos. I think it was a right hook. I'm not entirely sure. Was it a right hook from the clinch? Something like that. Or right over? No, I think it was more of a hook, overhand mix-up, something like that. And he had Chidi really wobbling for quite a few seconds. So I gave the first, actually, I gave to Dos Santos, just based on the amount of damage he generated with that one punch. Because other than that, he looked very, very timid. He threw, I think they even said it in the broadcast, I think he threw 4 strikes in the first round, something like that. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. But, yeah. In the first, he had the stronger strikes, but in the second, even more powerful strikes from Njokuani. He then lands in a clinch situation. He lands a tiny to the face. I'm not sure if it was the chin. I'm pretty sure it was like more like the eye area. And then he finished him with elbows on the ground. So Chidi Njokuani by TKO in the second round. He looks terrifying at welterweight. I mean, I think it's probably still possible to dominate him with great grappling. Like a Balal would most likely be a horror matchup for him, or a Kamaru Usman. But other than that, on the feet, if you can't hurt Njokuani, he's just going to pick you apart. And he throws with so much heat. Oof. Vicious fighter. As I said in my preview video, I was already a fan of his brother. They're both very entertaining fighters. But for now, we move on. We had the main event of the evening. We had Marvin Vettori in the middleweight division versus Roman Dolidze. I had Vettori winning in my prediction, but I did not know which Marvin Vettori would show up tonight. And it was not the one I was expecting. In the first round, it was very, very close stand-up. Vettori looked a little bit more volume. Dolidze tried with haymakers, like huge shots, but huge wind-ups. But he did not hit Vettori with any of those looping shots. It was very close in the first. But I gave the first, I gave to Vettori. In the second, Dolidze started to land more. And it was all out stand up. And yeah, Dolidze just landed a couple of his power shots, which is why I gave him the second round. In the third, more of the same, even more stand up. They're basically exchanging blows until Vettori hurts him bad. Wobbled Dolidze, hits him again, and Dolidze drops to one knee, turns it into a takedown attempt, but he drops to a knee. He dropped to a knee. Don't tell me that was a takedown attempt. But Vettori maybe tried to finish too hard. I don't know. But after that, he never looked the same. After that sequence of trying to finish Dolidze, he never looked the same. I still gave him the third, and in the fourth, he really slowed down. Dolidze starts taking over. In the fifth, it was even worse. Vettori seemed to be gassing, and yeah, Dolidze just turned up the pace even more. So he still had some power left, some energy left, while Vettori seemed to be depleted. The judges gave it, I think, 4-1. Yeah, they all gave Dolidze 4 rounds. As I said, I gave Vettori the first and the third, but it doesn't matter. He was losing on my card, and he was losing on the judges' part. So those were the fights of the night. Overall, the entire event. Let me think. Was a couple of nice finishes. I saw some highlight performances. The highlights for me were Carlos Vera upsetting Josias Musasa. That was big. Waldo Cortes Acosta, of course, knocking out Ryan Spann. Even though I don't think that, since Ryan Spann has been knocked out a couple of times, I don't think that it's a surprise. But good win for Cortes Acosta nonetheless. Another highlight for me was the performance of Kevin Vallejos. A great TKO in the first round. Of course, also the upset by Branson Ribeiro. And the co-main. But the co-main we all knew it was going to be a banger. We all knew it before. The UFC knew before it was a banger. That's why they put it there. They put it there to bolster up an overall really, really weak card. Not much star power. Not much star power. No one. If you're looking for star power, I think probably Marvin Vettori is the one with the biggest social following of all the fighters here, and Marvin Vettori has the Italians, some international fans, and that's not enough. Just no big names here. So it was a kind of a weak card, but good performances. That's what I'm trying to say here with many, many words. We had a lot of submissions. We had a lot of TKOs, some KOs. We had 4 decisions. That's fair. 4 decisions. That's really a good night of fights, I would say. So I was happy with what the fight night turned out to be, even though it was star power, I would say lackluster from the UFC. But the fights were fun to watch, so I'm okay with it. But just one more thing to the main event. Maybe Marvin Vettori needed a little bit more time off and needs to work on his cardio again, because he looked weak tonight. That was not, he was saying in the build-up that he can't rely on his chin, and he relied on his chin, but he relied on his chin even more, because this time he didn't even really go for the win. He just accepted punishment and didn't throw back from the 4th round on. Disappointing. Now we get an overview. I show you the picks I had before. As we can see, I was wrong in many instances. In the first 3 from top to bottom, I was wrong. Then here I'm wrong. I think I'm pretty much 50-50 tonight. Let me see if I'm 50-50 even. Okay, 3 wrong, 4, 5, 6 wrong. From 13, I'm even better than 50%. Okay, then I'm fine. I'm fine. Okay, those were my picks. Couple of them were wrong. That's why we skipped this, to not confuse anyone. Those are the results of tonight's card. But in the main event, we had Roman Dolidze winning by unanimous decision over Marvin Vettori. We had Chidi Njokwani winning by TKO over Eliseo Zaleski dos Santos. Alexander Hernandez by unanimous decision over Kurt Holliver. Damon Blackshear submitted Cody Gibson. Branson Ribeiro submitted also by Kimura, by the way. Diyar Nurgojai. Kevin Vallejos finished Choi Seong-woo by TKO. Valdo Cortes Acosta knocked Ryan Spann out with ground and pound. Yu Su-yong by unanimous decision over AJ Cunningham. Carlos Vera by TKO over Josias Musasa, biggest upset of the night. Sam Hughes by split decision over Stefani Luciano. Andre Lima submitted Daniel Barres in the 3rd round. Priscilla Cachoeira by KO over Josiana Nunes. And Carly Judas by TKO over Yuneisi Duben. Those were the fights of the night. I hope this brought some clarity, and I hope for you guys to like, comment, and subscribe, I think people say. Yeah. See you guys in the next one. Oh, I'm not in the right program, so now I see you guys in the next